Okay, so before we graph, we're going to calculate the uncertainty. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work in my new section down here for uncertainty. For this one, just like before, equals, and then I'm going to go ahead and say equals that cell right there. And I'm going to fill down. Okay, once you fill down, next thing we need to do is we need to figure out the max value and min value. So max time, min time, and what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the maximum minus the minimum and divide by 2. So we'll say uncertainty. Doesn't really matter how you organize this one. I just want the uncertainty next to my length because that's what I'm actually going to look at, versus max and min time matter a little bit less to me. So for this one, I'm going to first of all find the maximum time for each one. So I'm going to say equals, and there just so happens to be a function called max. So I'm going to say max, and it asks of which data values do I want to find the max. So I'm going to do this for each length. So I will go ahead and highlight all three times for the first length, close it out, and it will give me my maximum time. I'll do the same thing with minimum. So I'll say min, and then I will go back and I will highlight those three lengths, and it will give me the minimum time. So this is where I like to do a quick double check. So it's saying my max is 0.07915, and it says my minimum is 0.07582. So if I scroll back up, we can see the biggest of these times is 0.07915, and the smallest of these times is 0.07582. Let's take a look at the next row and see what it is. So all these look like 0.11. So here it looks like 0.1148 is the smallest, and 0.11746 is the biggest. So let's try and see if it comes up with those. Equals max, and I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to highlight those three, close the parenthesis, hit enter, and okay, 11746, that's what we thought, and then equals, and then minimum, and I'm going to go back up, I'm going to highlight my three times and do minimum. Now, the reason why we're doing this again is because we calculate uncertainty in this class, not using standard error or a more traditional way of doing it, but with a kind of quicker, easier, less mathematical way of just doing the maximum value minus the minimum value, so finding those two values, and then dividing by 2. So really what that does is it figures out what is the range in our data here, and that's it. So once I do that for a couple of them, I can actually fill down for all of them, and we can do a quick check. Numbers look appropriate. You can always double check them with up top. All right, so to calculate uncertainty, I'm going to say equals, and then I'm going to literally take my maximum. Sorry, one second. I'm going to put it in parentheses. I'm going to take my maximum minus my minimum, close parenthesis, divide by 2. The reason why we need parentheses is just because of order of operations. So I hit enter. I'll do this again. So equals, and then I'll say max minus min, divide by 2. Oops, I forgot to put parentheses. And so we can see here that 0.06 seems huge compared to what we were getting before. Really small compared to what we were getting before. So I'm going to go ahead and put the parentheses back in. So it's usually a sign when something looks a little bit different than the rest of them, we just go back and double check for parentheses. We now have that in there. It looks like it was actually a big one, not a small one, misread. So now that we've got all of the max minus min over 2, we've got all of our uncertainties. And then for my own sanity, I like to just go through and I will highlight this data. I will use the reduced decimal places, reduce it down to 1 or 2 decimal places, and I'll just go ahead and write it up here for myself. So uncertainty is going to equal, it looks like 0.0086 is my biggest one, so I'm going to say 0.009 is my uncertainty. So I'm going to write it there just so I have it as a reference and I don't have to go back and find it. Alternatively, I could have used a max function to look through those data points and then have that set equal, and that is an option as well. That's it for this video. We're going to bump the linearization and graphing to the next video.